Welcome to Dance Geek. I'm Claire, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the new line from Weissmans Costumes. It's their Spring 2018 line. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Weissmans, they're an American-based company, and they sell ready-to-wear, off-the-rack kind of idea there with dance costumes. They also have dance apparel, so leotards, shoes, all of that kind of stuff. They're really great for studios, for troupes, things like that. My only concern with buying from Weissmans, other than I'm Australian and I prefer to buy Australian, obviously, but you can't always have those sorts of principles. My only concern is that you don't get something unique, because everyone, all dance studios, teachers can buy from Weissmans. So you will run the risk of coming out on stage in the same costume as the person next to you or before you. However, you can customize these costumes quite a bit, and that's what we'll be talking about today. But I did say we, and you'll notice I do have two glasses with me today. This is the first in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing pretty much regularly, called Working Lunch. I had a colleague in today who actually knows about costumes, and by actually knows about it, I mean she makes costumes. She studied at university, learned how to make patterns, all of that sort of stuff, so she knows what she's talking about. She also does it for a living. So would you please welcome to lunch, Kiara Burridge. Have a seat, Kiara. Hello. Now this is not wine. I'm sorry, it's not wine. This is Coke Zero.
It's caffeinated.
It's caffeinated and there's no sugar. So welcome to Dance Geek.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. So Dance Geek is all about learning. Okay. The idea here is that you never stop learning. So I want to learn from you today. We're all going to learn from Kiara. I'm going to bring my dance teacher knowledge, but also my adjudicator knowledge of costumes. But you're our expert for today. Okay. The thing is, guys, you can, and this is me talking to the teachers, you can't know everything, okay? You can't. Just know the right people to ask, okay? So we're going to be reviewing the Weissman line. You've had a quick look at it?
Very quick.
Yeah, you had a look at this. I know I sent you the info for the sneak peek.
I saw the sneak peek.
Sneak peek. Yeah, so like the preview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
the full.
release.
Yeah, this was, well, I got the email for this yesterday, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still very new.
Yes. So if you're in the States, you can actually go and view Weissmans Costumes. They have some showrooms and things like that. But for the majority of their work or their sales, Weissmans is online. Now, very convenient. Definitely.
Yeah.
However,
it means that you can sit there and order your costumes at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep.
I do it in my
It's
pajamas.
brilliant.
It's great. It's really good.
You don't have to get out of the house.
But obviously there are drawbacks to that. You don't see the costume until you've purchased it. They have a pretty good returns policy, I must admit. They're pretty good with that. But you need to go on recommendations from other people. If you've never used any online costume company before, find other people who have, that you know. Okay. Now, I can highly recommend Weissmans. The quality of their costumes are really good. What do you think of?
I think the quality is brilliant, to be honest, for an online costume company who are essentially selling fast fashion.
Mm-hmm.
They're making them in bulk. They're selling them in bulk. I don't think I've ever come across a Weissman costume that has looked like it's been rushed through. It doesn't look like it's been, we'll just quickly make this up so that we can sell more costumes.
Yeah.
It looks like there's been a lot of care taken into each and every design, which is good to see.
Cool. Yeah.
I think that's really important.
I love their fabrics as well. Generally, their fabrics feel really quite sturdy, and and that's what you want, isn't it? You want your fabric to be able to move, but you want it to be strong. Okay, so the things that we're going to be looking at, because we've decided to give ourselves, as you can see here, 4 criteria to judge these costumes on. We don't want to just go, oh, I like that. That's not useful to you. And if that was the case, I'm just going to go, oh, it's pink, it looks like a unicorn and I like it. Or I'll go, oh, that one's dark and black and looks like a rock chick. I like that. That's my style. That's not helpful to you.
No.
It's not helpful. So we're going to be assessing these based on the following criteria to hopefully make this more of a useful review for you guys. So the first one I think is the most important, especially with your younger, like tween teenage girls in particular, is the costume body friendly. So if you're looking at a costume for anyone really, but especially when you've got 2 or more dancers, so duos, trios, groups, you want the costume to body friendly means the costume looks good and feels good on all the bodies in your group. Okay, everyone who's wearing it. Don't just dress the column shaped dancer body girl, if you get what I'm going for.
You don't want to go with dressing the easiest to dress dancer. You've got to look at your group of dancers and think, okay, which of these people is most likely to feel the most uncomfortable or out of place? So whether that be because of their height, if it's a group of, say, under 14s or something.
Just get some cheese and mushrooms.
One dancer has grown in the last 2 months, and you've gone, oh my gosh, they're all about the same height, and then this one girl or boy is a lot taller. It could be someone that happened.
When I was in under 16 troops, one of the girls in our troop, we were all really like prepubescent. One of them wasn't. She was, and she looked fabulous, but it was completely different costuming. Like, she looked different in everything to us.
Yeah, so I think in terms of making sure that your costume choice is body friendly for all of the bodies.
Yeah, so dress her.
Yeah. Look at,
because everyone else is going to look good no matter what.
Exactly.
And if it needs a bit more boob, just you can pad, you can't remove.
Yeah, look at dressing that dancer first, make them feel comfortable, because I don't know, I think it's
because dance should be fun, dance should be enjoyable. You've got to get out there and express yourself on stage. These dancers need to express themselves, and if all they're thinking, if they're so caught up in the, oh, I feel awful in this, and oh, I might be falling out of this, that's not going to work.
Be able to dance well.
Yeah.
And
so is it body friendly? The next one, the dance ability. Dance ability, not an actual word, I don't think. We just, how is the garment able to dance with the dancer? From an adjudicator's point of view, this is incredibly important. I hate it when someone comes out on stage and they start their routine, and you can see the technique, you can see they're developing as a dancer, all of this, but the costume's kind of like inhibiting them in some way. It might be that it starts here and then it drops, or the shorts. That was a big issue with 2 pieces. Your top lifting up, the shorts riding up, that kind of thing. But danceability for me is also the progress of the dancer. Where are they at? So if you have a rather brief costume on and the dancer is not, if it's a soloist, maybe the dancer is still working on hip alignment, not quite fully extended through the legs. They're just working on it because, you know what, they're a student. You're allowed to keep working on things. You're allowed to still be working. No. I know, right? Maybe don't put them in a brief 2-piece costume with no tights. Maybe put them into something that's going to be a little bit more forgiving of where they're at with their progress. So progress as a dancer is part of this dance ability, not just does it flow nicely or does it, Then we have adaptability. Now, this is one where I'm a really big, when I was a teacher, really big advocate of adaptability, especially if your studio is one that hires out a lot of their costumes to their dancers. Some studios will make them make students buy their costumes and the student keeps them. A lot of studios, though, will buy a whole set of things and then hire them year after year for different performances. Either way, adaptability in the costume is going to give you better value for money. But what it also does is it means that you can take something that's part of this fast fashion that Kiara was talking about, and you can make it more unique. So that's where you're going to come in a lot, giving us an idea of what could be done to the garment. Sometimes I've gone, and we could do this and we could do this, but because of the construction of the garment to start with, no, you can't do that. Something well, one of the things this was just me being a bit daft, but I used to get, when I ran a studio, I used to get all of my junior school students had to have a white half tutu, senior students had to have a black half tutu, and then we would build basically like a dress type thing for the concert, or we just put them in a nice leotard and make the overlay. It meant that we could reuse the tutu. Yeah, so the base of the tutu, just those ones that you pull on, and it makes it a bit more cost effective. But what I did one year is I got this costume in from Weissman. It was beautiful, but I didn't realize that the leg line, it wasn't a short, but it was one of those like lower boy leg briefs on it. So when they put the leotardy part on, and then they put their skirt over it, and you could see underneath, and it was a different color. It was like this beautiful like minty green, and then they had the white. So we had to like basically give these little kids a wedgie in the first way, and that was a little bit me going, don't do that. So Kiara's going to help us out with how you could get around those sorts of things and what it can be adaptable for. We're also going to talk in the adaptability about the multiple styles, and what we might give you a few suggestions on, you could do it for this sort of song, or this sort of song, or this sort of style, that kind of thing. And then we have kind of a miscellaneous added benefits of the costume. This one, when we're talking about costumes that we don't think are going to work, so nope, that's where we're going to have added benefits are going to be added problems.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a message.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to be looking at it on the computer. We're going to go through this whole range. Really, really quickly. This is the Weissmans website, so you should be able to see it on your screen now. If you are a teacher, you can log in up the top, if you already have your login account, obviously, or you can apply for one. Only teachers or principals of dance studios can actually get access to buying these costumes. The very good reason for that being that it's basically they're a wholesaler. You can't buy directly from them if you're a dancer or a dance parent. You need to go through your teacher. Now, most of the time, the teacher is the one that does all of the work into the creative vision behind the routine. That includes the costume. Just because they don't make the costume doesn't mean they shouldn't be paid for their time. How long do you sit with someone if you're going to make a costume? And I know the answer to this because I've done this with Kiara before. I've hired her to make costumes for me. But when we sit there or with any of your other clients, how long do you generally sit with someone to come up with the design and all of that?
Minimum an hour. And that could just be discussing the very basic ideas. Yep. Once you get into the design, multiple hours.
There you go.
Quite a significant amount of time that people don't necessarily know about.
As a teacher, we will see if we're ordering online for the costumes. Yes, it's convenient that we can just sit in bed and do it on our pajamas, but we've still got to do it. We've taken notes beforehand about what we might want. We have to get the measurements from all of the kids. Basically, there's a lot of work that goes into choosing, ordering, receiving, and distributing these costumes. So what companies like Weissmans allow for is that their pricing structure means that teachers and principals can then add their fee on top of that. And that is incredibly important because you all want great costumes, don't you, dancers? And parents, you want your kids to look great. But if ordering the costumes starts to become a thankless, penniless job, then teachers are going to stop caring, okay? So most teachers, and I've seen this on a lot of the teacher forums on Facebook, most teachers or principals, they're not doubling the price. That's what your retail outlets do. They'll 100% markup. We're talking a markup maybe of 15%. Sometimes it's $10 or $15. They're not earning, huge wage from it. They're probably not even earning their hourly wage. They're not even earning a minimum wage from it. But they are, and they should be, earning money. So teachers, principals, if you are not putting a markup for your time onto your costumes, you are doing yourself a disservice, okay? If you can't eat and pay your bills, you can't teach your students. You can't then order them great costumes, okay? Your time is worth it. Put a markup on it, okay? Weissmans are really good for that. Thank you. Boink.